Welcome to Faith and Freedom. For the next few minutes, we hope to inform, inspire, and encourage you as we discuss legal victories and challenges to your fundamental freedom and religious liberties. Faith and Freedom comes to you from Liberty Counsel, a civil liberties education and legal defense organization. Join us now as Matt Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel, explains the latest legal issues all across this country. In the courtrooms of America, Liberty Counsel is winning the battle for your constitutional freedom.
Planned Parenthood is not a women's health organization. Hi, I'm Matt Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel. We're going to be talking about this today on Faith and Freedom with Matt Barber, vice president of Liberty Counsel Action. Matt, there was a presidential debate, and during that presidential debate, one of the candidates actually referred to Planned Parenthood as a women's health organization or something to that effect, basically specifically referring to the fact that millions of women all across the country rely on Planned Parenthood for mammograms. That's what President Barack Obama stated in his debate, on the second debate. But the fact of the matter is, Planned Parenthood does not do mammograms. Not one Planned Parenthood facility offers mammograms, not a single one. The White House knew that. That's common knowledge. It is not a women's health organization by any stretch of the imagination.
I was amazed that the president was so bold in saying that, which he had to have known was not true, and because I think he probably understood that the reliable liberal media was not going to come back and fact check him and hold him accountable for spreading that misinformation. It was also interesting to read later that thousands of people, actually women, called into Planned Parenthoods around the country trying to schedule mammograms, and were turned away and told, well, we don't actually offer mammogram services.
Well, just 4 months ago, in response to a Freedom of Information Act request, the Obama administration admitted that Planned Parenthood facilities do not offer mammograms. You know, it's the largest abortion provider in America, and the president wants to continue funding Planned Parenthood when America faces a $16 trillion debt. That's astounding, the debt that we face, but it's also astounding that we wouldn't have a resolve from all different spectrums of the political parties to come together and say this is a non-essential. Not only if you're trying to reduce the deficit, this doesn't seem to be part of something that's essential, but also beyond that, this is an organization that takes the lives of innocent children. It's the largest abortion provider in America, and our tax dollars, even though we are in this deficit spiral, are going towards funding Planned Parenthood. Yeah. And they're clearly not a women's organization. They are not interested in the health and well-being of women. They're interested in, I believe, their death agenda of abortions, and they are so radically committed to that every time there's an informed consent or other kinds of information that comes up with the legislature, they're always there to file suit or to complain against it. They don't want people to have the opportunity to vote on the definition of life or personhood amendments. They don't want women to be informed or have ultrasounds before their abortions. So they are not a women's organization, but certainly they don't perform mammograms.
Yeah, it's so ironic that Planned Parenthood, and that's a tactic of the left, is that they will say they stand for one thing when in reality they are pushing the exact opposite. For Planned Parenthood to say that they are a women's organization, a pro-women's organization, Planned Parenthoods hurt women. They intentionally try to obfuscate and cover up the health risks, for instance, associated with having an abortion. And they do this, and they have cover-up money, to the effect of hundreds of millions of dollars every year of our federal taxpayer dollars that go to Planned Parenthood that fund abortion. I don't care how, people say they compartmentalize it, they don't commingle, they move it over here. Well, if you are giving hundreds of millions of dollars to an organization to do one thing, it frees up all other monies and donations and so forth to do something else. So the reality is that Planned Parenthood hurts women, and that it is our funding that they are using to do this and to cover up what they are actually doing and the risks associated with abortion.
Well, and Planned Parenthood certainly will benefit of the as part of the HHS mandate that ultimately will require abortion providing drugs or other kinds of information that will be required under this mandate and the rest of the Obamacare legislation. They'll certainly benefit from that because they'll be a financial recipient of some of these taxpayer dollars in addition to what they already are recipients of. Planned Parenthood, as I mentioned, is the world or the country's largest abortion provider. They abort 330,000 preborn babies each year. I mean, that's astounding. 330,000 is half of the size of the state of Vermont. It's half of the size of the state of South Dakota. They abort that many. Just that one organization aborts that many preborn children each year. They're not only murdering our children, but they're also damaging the mothers of those children, the fathers of those children, the grandfathers, grandmothers, and the sisters and brothers of these children. They are damaging the very core and foundation of who we are as Americans and as people of faith and values.
You know, there is a growing movement afoot to defund Planned Parenthood. And this, again, everything we're talking about right here underscores how important it is that we elect people into office that are going to have take the initiative and have the wherewithal to do what it takes to get Planned Parenthood defunded. It's happening. We've seen it in Texas and elsewhere where state legislators are saying we are not going to allow our state dollars to go. There has been a movement. Congressman Mike Pence has actually brought to the House on more than one occasion bills that would defund Planned Parenthood. As long as we have a Senate that is controlled by liberal pro-aborts and a president who is a pro-abortion president in place, we're not going to get the job done. So who we elect, we need to elect pro-life individuals who are going to take this money, these federal dollars, away from Planned Parenthood, and hopefully at that point they'll wither on the vine.
Well, we certainly need to defund Planned Parenthood. You know, even when George W. Bush was in office, we had a president who was Republican and a House and a Senate that was also controlled at the time by Republicans. And yet Planned Parenthood was still part of the budget. So Republicans were doing the same thing, still funding Planned Parenthood. Why it is that there's not the resolve among politicians to just simply do something very simple. First of all, if you've got a debt, you've got to cut non-essential things. This would be a no-brainer. But even if you had a surplus, this would be a no-brainer to cut the funding of Planned Parenthood, to cut funding so that our tax dollars are not going towards the killing of human life, innocent human life. And that's what we're doing when we fund Planned Parenthood. Legislators, as you said, in New Jersey, New Hampshire, Tennessee, and North Carolina, they voted to defund Planned Parenthood. But this administration has actually sent more federal funds to the abortion provider in response. And then this administration sued Arizona, Indiana, and Texas after legislators in those states voted to cut Planned Parenthood funding from their budgets, even threatening to withhold Medicaid money when states cut Planned Parenthood funding. I know, for example, that under this administration, the State Department, for example, has actually used our federal tax dollars to undermine abortion laws in other countries around the world. So this is a time of history where many efforts are being put forth to use our tax dollars to fund Planned Parenthood. Clearly, though, Planned Parenthood is not a women's organization. Clearly, they don't do mammograms. You know, the dust-up that they had recently with Komen, the cancer
the breast cancer
organization, has actually, I think, damaged Komen. Komen got some original contributions, and probably Planned Parenthood got a little bit more contributions out of this after that first dust-up. But now Komen, I was just looking at their contributions compared to a year ago, and as of the time that they were being reported, they're down 50%. So I think that Komen associating with Planned Parenthood, Komen being an organization that wants to stop breast cancer, and yet abortion having information now that it actually increases the risk of breast cancer, it's an oxymoron why they would associate, and I think Komen has been taking a hit for that association as well.
Well, you mentioned even conservative politicians have been reluctant to defund Planned Parenthood, I think because they've been tricked into believing there's some kind of political risk associated with that. No, the risk involved is to continue to be associated with Planned Parenthood. To move forward to defund Planned Parenthood is going to help individual politicians, I think, from a political standpoint.
Well, we need to restore a culture of life in this country, and we need to do that in our generation. I think it begins by defunding Planned Parenthood. That's a no-brainer, and it goes beyond that as well. We need to erase this chapter of blood that has soaked America since 1973 with the Roe versus Wade decision, and ultimately stand for the most vulnerable and innocent among us, those that are in the womb. We need to, in our lifetime, pray that God will forgive this land and ultimately bring a culture of life to America. Go to Liberty Counsel's website, lc.org. You can find information there about voting. You can find information about how you can get involved in your community. You can also make an online credit card contribution to Liberty Counsel right there as well. That's lc.org. lc.org. You can call us today, 1-800-671-1776.
You have been listening to Faith and Freedom with Liberty Counsel. We hope that we have motivated you to stand up for your faith, family, and freedom. We can accomplish a lot when we work together. Get informed and get involved today. Sign up for our free monthly newsletter, The Liberator. We will send it out to you free of charge. Stay informed with our Liberty Alert email updates. Just click on the website at www.lc.org or call us at 1-800-671-1776. Tune in next time to learn more about your rights right here on Faith and Freedom.